St. Texas, ain't no holding. The other cards down, 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 down. So pocket Lexus, pick all your keys up, stick around, round, round, round. And I'll be damned if I can't slow dance with you. Come throw some sugar on me, honey, too. It's a real life again, a real life hold down. Don't be a bitch, don't take it to the floor now. There's a tornado in my city, and no place, that shit ain't free. We surviving. Red cup kisses, we pretend she passed the time. And step to the right. We heading to the dive bar. We always throw it nice. And me to the left. You fit me in the middle, boy. I can't read the line. This ain't Texas. Ain't no holding. We all caught down.
Welcome to the PM Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Mullen, and this is episode 4. You're probably wondering, where's the guest? Where's the guest? Where's the guest? But guess what? This is a special edition episode only brought to you by the PM Coaching owner himself, which is Patrick Mullen. And these will be happening in the next coming weeks, where there'll be special edition episodes which I'll be giving some news, but also there'll be weeks where there will be episodes with guests, but the ones which are special edition episodes, there will be no guests, and that's the bottom line. Whether you like it or you don't like it, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. It's been a crazy last 10 to 12 days in the sporting world. And also there's been other stories which the world's probably seen. But I want to focus on the All-Star weekend, which I think it was just madness. It was just chaotic. It should be scrapped. It was just embarrassing. From the start to the finish, delays to the game. There's more adverts than there is when you're tuning in before watching the chase. Like, advert after advert goes back in, there's a ceremony, and then goes back on the adverts again. You're going, where's the game? And then when the game starts, it was the most embarrassing thing I've seen in my life. Players are just walking past, slam dunking, people just walking past, laying up. There was no desire, no commitment, no energy. It was all laziness. Considering these are meant to be the superstars of the NBA, LeBron James, Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Stephen Curry, and much more. These all were going round thinking it was some kind of fun, but it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun for the people sitting at home or going to that stadium to sit in their seat and they paid all their money to watch it. It wasn't fun. It was just embarrassing from my view, because you expect a bit more fight, a bit more competitiveness, especially in the All-Star game, because you see more competitiveness in the playoffs. Well, I'm not saying you get that much competitiveness, because the playoffs is a bit more, but in the All-Star game, you want a bit more, because 211 to 186, the East won. A 25-point win for the East. The first time in history, an All-Star record where there was 397 points combined by both teams. Absolute crazy. That should not happen. It should never happen in an All-Star game. Never. But the main thing was the energy, the fight, the desire. There was none of that. It was just a bit of fun. Of course you need a bit of fun, but there needs to be a bit more on defensive end of the game, a bit more on when you're defending, a bit more tactics, instead of just think it's just a bit of crack. When I didn't find it fun at all. For me staying up, and probably others stayed up, or that late at night, it all started with a ceremony. All these ads, I always find it not amusing at all. But they get the money, we don't. I think the only way to change it is to give them a bit more money. It's up for grabs because they did in the in-season tournament where they give the winning team money towards their winnings. If they went the All-Star game, the winning team gets an extra 200 grand or 300 grand, then that can give them a bit more motivation to play a bit more, because that's the only way, I think, a bit more incentive to the players to play a bit better on defence. Because that should not be 397 points combined. That should not happen, especially in that sort of way the plays go, way the players are. They're superstars in the NBA. But at the weekend there, you see more competitiveness on the Miami Beach on a Tuesday night. So this is a load of crap that I don't want to get injured. I'm not going to try as hard. But guess what? No one cares, because we know you're talking shit if you're saying that you don't want to get injured, because we know you're playing on a Wednesday or Thursday night again, 2-3 days after the All-Star weekend. You're playing a game midweek, so that injury is a crazy excuse, which some of the players were saying, which I'm not accepting. I think it needs to change as soon as possible, because it's been happening for a few years now. The All-Star games going downhill. Starting 2018 was awful, and then 2019 just got even worse, and then now the shit's hit the fan, and I think it should just be removed because it was a nightmare weekend. The only thing which was in a nightmare weekend, and the only positive from that weekend, was the Sabrina versus Steph Curry 3-point challenge, which was unbelievable. Sabrina in the women's division is unbelievable. Her shooting is world class, but no one was beating Stephen Curry, the greatest shooter in basketball history. Of course he was going to win. Of course. You can put all the pressure on him, but he shows up when it really matters. And Sabrina, she got 26 points. And then Steph went, hey, see you later. 29 points, wallop. Send down home. You're not beating Steph. And that's just the way it is. Whoever thought Sabrina was winning that contest versus Stephen Curry should have just went back to the toilet seat, got the newspaper, and continued reading about the Emmerdale gossip or the EastEnders gossip. That should be your style, not the NBA. Because Sabrina, no one should have thought she was going to win that. The greatest shooter in basketball, Steph Curry, was going to win it 100%, and that was no debate. And that was the only positive, and that which brings me into a bit of decent mood from that weekend, which Steph Curry put on a class show. But that All-Star game, that should just be a walk in the park for some people. That shouldn't even be the way it was. And I call for it to be removed, because the way they're playing is like something in the Mickey Mouse show, and it shouldn't happen. But moving on, the Super Bowl, absolutely unbelievable from Kansas City Chiefs. Unbelievable. Touchdown, Kansas. Absolutely brilliant from them to do back to back. Absolutely brilliant. A win of 25-22. Unbelievable. And when I woke up that morning, the Super Bowl morning, I woke up, got my coffee, got my bowl of cereal. In my mind, oh, who's gonna do it? Will Brown Purdy upset the Chiefs? Will he upset the Swifties? But guess what? My mind was going, them 49ers fans, they're in Wonderland. The only Wonderland I was in the Super Bowl Wonderland, thinking about the Chiefs No other thing was on my mind. They were always going to win it. No doubts in my mind that Mahomes was going to go back to back. No doubt. When you have the quarterback who's performed the best in this modern era in Patrick Mahomes, of course he was going to do it for his team. Of course, there's no doubt about it. And if you thought that morning that the 49ers were going to upset the Chiefs, then you were just probably the Swifties haters, the haters of the Swifties. But if you're haters of the Swifties, then you need to look at the Taylor Swift. She only shows up because she's dating Travis Kelce. But then, if you hate her even more, she breaks records after records after records. What she does, the the stats don't lie. You look up stats, she's breaking her records when she sells her stadiums. The audiences, the people who show up their stadium, like 96,000 in Melbourne. She sold out 3 stadiums in a row, which calculated up near 300,000 people attended her shows, which is incredible. So, if you're going to hear her for one, she's the best artist currently at the minute, according to her stats. Or do you hate her because she goes with Travis Kelce? But you look at the bottom line that the Chiefs were going to win either way. You can hate her, she's only there. She's not playing, she's only in the stands. But Mystic Pat done it again. All I can say is that if we rewind back to February 2023, I posted on Facebook that Kansas were going to win 10 hours before it kicked off. I've done the exact same this year. 2 years in a row, I predicted that Kansas were going to win 10 hours before it even kicks off. So you could have went to bed, woke up for work without even watching the game. You would already know the result because Mystic Pat predicts things. I predicted Argentina were going to win the World Cup. Predicted Argentina were going to win the Cup of America. It's just the way things go. When I see things, it just comes in the reality. I don't just make them up. I've seen Lionel Messi was going to win the World Cup. He's the best player in the world. I've seen Mahomes going to do back to back. He's the best quarterback at the minute. So there's a bit of reason for going with the mind. Why would I go against both of them? That's the question I ask everyone. So going back to the way these two back-to-back wins for Mahomes, which he's turning into a machine at the minute. He's going into his prime. This is just greatness that we're all witnessing. And we all have to admit we're witnessing something magical with Patrick Mahomes because when he has 4 Super Bowl appearances in 7 years and he's won 3 of them, it's just unbelievable that we all have to clap our hands and go, he's on to something good here. Because I asked everyone that in the 0.08 seconds, who would you want on the ball for that last play? Brock Purdy or Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes, there's no debate about it. And that's what happened in that Super Bowl final this year. 8 seconds were left. Mahomes had the last play. He passed the ball for the win. And it's the same. Of course, you would want Mahomes. Of course, you don't want Brock Purdy. You don't want Joe Burrows. Because when we look back at, you'd rather have the best player on the ball. Look at the show in that Chicago Bulls era in the 90s. I always asked, who do you want on the last play? Would you want David Robinson from the San Antonio Spurs? Or would you want Michael Jordan? You want Michael Jordan? It's the same with the NFL. You want Patrick Mahomes over Brock Purdy. So it's the way I look at things that Mahomes, his contract that he signed in 2020, a $450 million deal over the 10-year gap. It's a no-brainer. He's the fame. He's the face of the NFL at the minute. So you would, of course, want him in your last play over anyone, and you want MJ over anyone, even if it was, you don't want Shaq, you don't want David Robinson, the other players not there, so it's all just MJ you want in the NBA. But when I go back to it, it all comes into this big thing that why did Kansas get there and what really happened and why it's so great for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas Chiefs. I always look at how they get to the final. And everybody was writing them off. Everybody was going, will they do it again? Will they go back to back? And it was a pathway to victory, which wasn't all doom and gloom. It wasn't all happy Haribos. It wasn't all happy for them. They had to do it through a difficult period in terms of the media. Media was always backing them down. And the first travel that they had to make and the first game that they had to beat on the pathway to the Super Bowl was the wildcard game in which they defeated the number one offense and the number two in score offense in the Miami Dolphins, which they defeated 26-7. So they beated the number one offense in the wildcard game, the Miami Dolphins. They smoked them out of the water. And then you go on to the divisional playoff game in which they had to go away to Buffalo Bills. They had to go away and they had to face this player, Josh Allen. Oh, Josh Allen this and Josh Allen that. Kansas won't get past them. Kansas won't beat Buffalo Bills. They won't beat them away in Buffalo. All the pundits, all the fans were going, they won't beat Buffalo. So guess what happened? Kansas went to Buffalo and Kansas smoked them out of the water. Patrick Mahomes turned it on and they beat Buffalo 27-24 in Buffalo. And that's 3 times in which Patrick Mahomes has beat Josh Allen in a playoff game. And he's also beat the Buffalo Bills in that sort of. So he beat Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills 3 times in a playoff game, not just a normal game. So he's had a 3-0 record against the Buffalo Bills, which is incredible. And then you go in the AFC Championship, everyone was writing them off again against the number 1 seed, Baltimore Ravens. They smoked them out and holding Lamar Jackson to only 10 points. They beat them 17-10. So that there's 3 games in which they had turned it on going into the Super Bowl, and in which, if you were writing them off after beating the Miami Dolphins, then if you wrote them off against the Bills, and then if you write them off against the Ravens, then mad. Because if you have them results, then you're on the floor to getting another Super Bowl. Another thing is the 4 Super Bowl appearances in 7 seasons is incredible, but this is 3 MVP Super Bowls by Patrick Mahomes now. He's got 3 MVPs, which is absolutely unbelievable. And I highly praise him, and we're witnessing something magical in this era. And it all goes into this debate. Will he beat Tom Brady's record? Will he beat Tom Brady? And that's all the big thing coming in here. And I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna put it out here now. After what I've witnessed, I haven't seen a thing like this in my lifetime, and I think he will beat Tom Brady's record. And that's the bottom line, because Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowl rings, 5 MVPs. Mahomes has 3 Super Bowl rings and 3 Super Bowl MVPs. So he's 4 behind in the rings. And we all need to look at the logic and the timeline. Tom Brady retired around 44, 45. So that's Patrick Mahomes only 28 years of age. So if you think about that, 17 years, if Mahomes can keep healthy, keep fit, and stick on to his program and keep believing that he can catch that record and beat that record, then he 100% can. Because if you think about it, Tom Brady, when he won his 3rd, he went 10 years without winning the championship. So he won his 3rd one in 2005. His 4th one was in 2015. I don't think Patrick Mahomes will go 10 years without one. I think they will do three-peat, and then that will be 4 Super Bowls for Patrick Mahomes before the age of 30. And I think that can happen. As soon as he can get this 4th one and 5th one, it will be game over for Tom Brady. Because if he gets 6 Super Bowls before the age of 36, then it's, of course, he's going to beat it. It's the timeline. It's, as I think of things, it's how you can measure your time to cut that down. But if you're on 3 now, and there's 17 years, if Mahomes retires at the age of 45, then if someone told me you have 17 years to get 4 more Super Bowls, it's a no-brainer that you can do it, especially in that team. And the player he is, he's the best player at the minute. Beat that record. It's not impossible. But as the people say, the word possible is in the word impossible. So it's mad that Tom Brady went 10 years without one. So the big thing is how quick can Mahomes get the 4th and 5th? And that's the question. But the quicker he gets the 4th and 5th, then the big pressure will come towards that legacy of Tom Brady. Because the nutrition that is, you can stay as fit as you can. And Mahomes doesn't play the full minutes because at the Super Bowl, he does come off now and again. He only plays when they have the ball. So as a quarterback, you can easily play to your mid-40s, no problem. And that's why I think he will win more than Tom Brady in the Super Bowls. And if you think of it, every time that Patrick Mahomes has won the Super Bowl, he's got the MVP with it. That isn't the case with Tom Brady. So he could beat the MVP as well. Tom Brady's won 7 Super Bowls, but he's only got 5 MVPs. But that's the big question to everyone. And when he got that 3rd Super Bowl, will he beat Tom Brady now? Will he get there? And I think he can. If you look at the time scale that Tom Brady went 10 years without a championship after winning that 3rd one. And I don't think Patrick Mahomes will go 10 years without one in the American football. That Mahomes is just on a roll. He's performing like a Ferrari on a race, just fast, boom. And there's no stopping him at the minute. And that 4 Super Bowls in 7 years and win 3 of them. That's the performance that I think that will continue. He might go 1, 2 years without one, but that's still good because as long as you don't go 6, 7 years without one, then that will be the question. And in his mind, he thinks he can. If you don't believe that you can beat that record, and then you won't do it. But if you believe that you'll beat it, then you will. In my opinion, that if someone told Mahomes you have 17 years, he will shake her hand and go, I'm going to chase it, I'm going to stay fit and try and get these as quick as possible. And I think the Chiefs one as well, the competitives, everyone wants to beat them. So you want to be the team to beat, and I think they are the team to beat. You'd rather be in the team Kansas than any other team because Kansas are such a rolling, and that's just the way it goes. And another big thing with Patrick Mahomes is the 4 Super Bowls that he's been involved in. They've all been, he's all been down by 10 points. So 2020, the 49ers was 20-10 ahead. And then we knew what happened when they got beat by Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got beat there, but then they were down 24-14 in 2023, and then they were down 10-0 this year, which shows that competitiveness, they always pull it back. They always come back in that sort of line that they always pull it back, even though they've been down 10 points in all the Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes turns the team around and brings them to victory in 3 of them. The one that they didn't pull back was the one against Tom Brady. So showing that commitment that he can put it back shows that the team is in form at the minute and can perform to a different level. Even if you're down 10 to 12 points, you can still pull it back, which is full belief in Mahomes to do that in the next few years. And that's the big debate at the minute. Will he or will he not? We just have to see. Topic 2 is what's been happening at Bayern Munich is an absolute nightmare at the minute. They've been crazy. They're performing like they're just passing the ball around. I've had plenty of debates about this possession crap, that they're all just these triangles without doing anything. And then when they get to the forward line, they're not doing nothing with it. So all these passes, and then they get to the forward line, you're not resulting in a goal or a clear opportunity, which is concerning for a team like Bayern Munich. So at the minute, in all the European top 5 leagues, they've had the most shots per game, which is 19.9, which is staggering, which is absolutely at the highest level, that you're averaging 19.9 shots per game and you're not getting the wins, but you should have. You're 8 points behind Bayern Leverkusen and you've already got 4 defeats in the Bundesliga, which I think is crazy, that you've already got 4 defeats and you're already behind the 8 ball. That could easily go to 12 points behind Bayer Leverkusen, and then the league is probably up in smoke. But at the same time, you can't write off Bayern Munich. But there's just something different with Bayern at the minute compared to the teams when they had Ribery and Arjen Robben, that they were on a different level. But it seems that there's something missing. I'm going to go back 21st of January. I've seen a few of the fixtures, but going back the 21st of February, home to Werder Bremen, they lost 1-0, they had 21 shots, and then 15 of those were off target. 15 were off target. And then you go on to February the 10th against Bayern Leverkusen, they got beat 3-0, 8 shots, 7 shots off target with 60% possession. And then midweek, they had on the February the 14th away to Lazio in the Champions League, they get beat 1-0. They have 17 shots. None of them were on target. Shambles. Considering like Bayern Munich, you should be beating a team like Lazio. They're 8th in the Serie A. It's not like you've been drawn against an AC Milan or Juventus or an Inter. Like playing Lazio, it should go through as a team like Bayern Munich. And having 17 shots, none of them were on target, is quite concerning. And then it goes on the 18th of February, recently there on the Sunday, against Bochum away. They get beat 3-2. They have 26 shots and 16 of them were off target. And then you go way back on the DFB Pokal, the last 16, 1st of November 2023, have 74% possession, 15 shots, 9 on target, 3 off target. They get beat 1-0 by Saarbrücken. They're in the 3rd division of Germany. Absolutely chaotic. And then it even goes back to even the 9th of December against Frankfurt, where they get beat 5-1 away. They had 17 shots that game, 11 of them. 11 were off target. So over these recent fixtures, there's a correlation that I've seen. These 4 games, the Werder Bremen, the Leverkusen, the Lazio, and the Bochum, plus the other 2. So the 4 games plus the 2 back in 2023, there's been a bit of madness. So you have 4 recently, and then you have 2 throughout that November and December period. So 6 games have seen that the more shots they have, more than we're going off target. And then this goes with over them 6 games, they had 104 shots. I calculated up, and then that meant that 69 of them were off target. So that means overall they're having a 33% shot conversion. So 33%. You must be having a laugh. As a team like Bayern Munich, you should be aiming towards that 50% bracket. Because if you're having 18 shots, you want at least 12 of them on target. You don't want 17 shots, none on target. You don't want 26 shots, 16 shots off target. This is why they're not scoring goals. This is why they're not performing to the level they should be, because they're averaging 33% when they're attacking, and their conversion rate, they're taking the piss with it. They are taking the piss. Like, you have Müller, you have Harry Kane, you have Musiala, you have Leroy Sané, Kimmich in the midfield, and they still can't put the ball back in the net or get them on target, which I think is concerning. Your top goal scorers Harry Kane, Leroy Sané 8 goals, Musiala with 6. There's just something wrong. There's just something not going right when you watch Bayern Munich, or with the chances. And it doesn't even get any easier for Bayern Munich, because next up they have Leipzig. And the last 4 matches against Leipzig, what do you think happened? They haven't won. 2 draws, and Leipzig's won the other 2. And this shows in the big games recently, they just haven't shown up. They just haven't been playing ball. They just haven't been getting to that standard which you expect a Bayern Munich team to have. And it's led on, as it showed, 4 games in 2024. And then it showed that the 2 games in 2023, that's all been linking in way in November time. This has all been linking in. So it's nothing new coming through this. This is like, when you look back, there is a reason behind this, that they can't put the ball back in the net and their players aren't performing to the standard. And the 33%, it needs to change if they're going to challenge for that Bundesliga or challenge for the Champions League. And it's going to be interesting this weekend if they can upset Leipzig and change their form, and remove that stigma that they can't beat Leipzig recently. It's on Sky Sports 5:30, everyone. If you want to tune in, put your feet up and watch that game and see if Bayern Munich can turn their form around. And I think it'll be a draw. And we're going on to topic 3, which is my weekend roundup. On Saturday, we had Liverpool beating Brentford 4-1. Absolutely brilliant from Liverpool. Mo Salah back from injury and scoring. Absolutely brilliant. And then we had Arsenal beating Burnley 5-0. And that's 11 goals in 2 matches from Arsenal. And the title race is on. And Saka performing like he's on fire at the minute with 2 goals. And then we had Fulham losing the Aston Villa 2-1. Aston Villa back on form. Watkins scoring 2 as well. Watkins on fire. Absolutely brilliant. He's some striker at the minute. And then you had Newcastle's on 2 to Bournemouth. Forest beating West Ham was an absolute shock. West Ham, Moisey's having the shits at the minute. Moisey's getting scared that's 8 matches without win now in all competitions. And I think if West Ham don't turn it around quick, he'll be getting the P45 and he'll be working down Chesterfield soon. But we'll have Tottenham losing to Wolverhampton. That's Wolves didn't double against Spurs. Joe Gomez scoring 2, brilliant. And then Man City drawing with Chelsea, which Man City looked a bit shaky. They had like 30 odd shots and then they just scored towards the end. Chelsea played well, but unlucky not to get the win. And then we had on the Sunday, Man United, 4 wins in a row for Man United now against the beat Luton 2-1. And then my big shock result from the weekend were Walsall beating Mansfield 2-1. Walsall 16th and Mansfield 2nd. And then also we had another shock in Tranmere, who are 17th, beating the Stockport 4-0. Stockport at first. and that was an upset because both teams in the title race getting blown out of the water. Also, we move across the world in the Serie A, where we had another big shocker. Juventus slipping up again with Verona, 2 each. And Rayo Vallecano drawing with the Galacticos, 1 each. That was another shocker, which I was in shock seeing that because Real Madrid were on fire at the minute. But that opened the door to Girona. They moved the gap, but they lost 3-2 to Bilbao. And that was a big shock. And then Monaco, out in Monaco, the sunshine was splitting the trees. They couldn't even beat Toulouse. So there's a few shockers there. And AC Milan losing the Monza. Oh my God. AC Milan losing the Monza. I don't know about that now. I don't know about that. What's going on here? I believe it gets better. Lazio beating Bayern Munich, but they get beat by Thiago Motta's Bologna. Ah, absolutely madness that weekend. It gets even crazier that Bologna beating Lazio. But it just shows you at the minute that Thiago Motta, 4 wins in a row now, and they're chasing the Champions League, which I think they might get it. They might get it because they are performing some football at the minute. But it shows you that you can beat Bayern Munich, but you can't beat Bologna. And it just shows you football can be a crazy game at times. It can be a crazy game. But it even gets better. The weekend in the Irish League, Overeem beating the Linfield. I don't know about that now. But then you go up to Ballymena. Long continue their chase for the league. They beat them 1-0. And then Carrick beat Dungannon. Cliftonville, Joe the goals back. Cliftonville beat the Glenavon. And then Glentoran beat Newry 8-2. And then you had the Crews beating Loughgall 1-0. But then that even moved on. That Cliftonville win the big Glenavon. They continue their streak against Linfield with the shit to bed on the Tuesday night, where they get beat 3-0. And I thought that game where Linfield were just a better team at the minute. And that means Linfield's won 5 in a row against Cliftonville. That just shows you when Cliftonville play against the top teams, they don't have that structure compared to the bottom half. But I need to see towards the end of the season, Cliftonville turn it around, or will it be another Lawn versus Linfield for the title? And then it goes on to this topic 4, which I'm always interested about this sort of topic, which always tickles my spine. And it was from Harry Redknapp on the Project Footballer. He said 80% of young coaches who work at football clubs are academics. They've never played football and they don't understand what's going on. By someone who's played in the 1960s is just away with the fairy tales at the minute, because if he thinks this is a good sort of the structure and he's trying to create some sort of drama, he couldn't go on the Cardigan Street and talk about drama. I think he's talking absolute nonsense, because I think this quote is ridiculous, personally, because a lot of articles now are trying to make it out that people in their 20s come towards their 30s have little experience and showing that they aren't good compared to people who are ex-footballers. But examples which show that you can be the best footballer and then it doesn't mean that you're going to be a good coach or manager, because Wayne Rooney, Derby County, DC United, sacked recently at Birmingham. What has he done so beautiful in the managing game? Frank Lampard, Derby, Chelsea, Everton. What has he done so special? Probably arguably one of the best Premier League midfielders ever, Frank Lampard. And he hasn't done good in the management world. Same with Wayne Rooney. Steven Gerrard also. He had one decent year at Rangers. Sacked at Aston Villa. And he did an absolute shambles down Al Ediveg, whatever you call that team out there. He's 8th. Out in that league. So he's 8th in Saudi Arabia. He sacked the fella. His CV's not going quite great. So where's 3 already? Thierry Henry. Sacked after 3 months out in Monaco. Montreal Impact. He done awful. And then you go. Andrea Pirlo. One of the best Italian midfielders ever. So what's going on? He's doing shambles at Sampdoria at the minute. He's been sacked twice. sacked at Juventus. He was sacked out in Turkey as well. So there's 5 brilliant professional footballers who haven't shown something special in the managing world. Whereas on the other side, people with little experience and people with no experience have shown to be the top coaches. So it shows that you don't really need to play the game to be a great coach. And these are the 6 I'm going to name you. Arsene Wenger, Jose Mourinho, Mauricio Sarri, Andre Villas-Boas, Nagelsmann, Liam Manning, recently appointed at Bristol. So there are 6 people who's got little experience playing compared to the people who's played, and all 6 of them has better record than the ex-footballers. So it shows that Harry Redknapp, all his experience playing and all his adaptations, whatever he thinks is wrong. It doesn't matter if you played the game that you're going to be a good coach and not fight for it. It doesn't mean you haven't played the game you're going to be a good coach. So fight for it doesn't mean anything. But what happens is that I think that if you're at that football club, you must have deserved something. You must have proved that you're good enough to try and work at that club. And that's what I think. And also, one of the best coaches ever, never played before he went straight from a shoe salesman to become a coach, Arrigo Sacchi. And he said that I never realised that to be a jockey, you had to be a horse first. So it shows you that, and he brought through Maldini and Franco Baresi at that AC Milan team, that it shows you that you don't need to be an ex-footballer. So there's 6, including another one in Arrigo Sacchi. So 7 overall. And there's more. That you don't need to be top player. You can go another route, like what them 7 did. And one of the players in that AC Milan side said that before Arrigo, Italy was all about great defence. But with Arrigo Sacchi, we started the press, total innovation, top motivator, top coach. Opinions are like brain cells. Everyone's got one. But sometimes them brain cells can be a load of rubbish. Like Harry Redknapp, Jamie Redknapp, and that podcast, but they spoke about that you need to be this sort of footballer or academics are coming in the football clubs. It's wrong. And I think we should move on that. You can get anywhere either way, but it doesn't mean you'll be a top coach if you're an ex-footballer. And the examples show that Harry Redknapp can go where the sun doesn't shine. And the last topic I'm going to say today is Jack Catterrall versus Joyce Taylor, the upcoming boxing match for the super lightweight championship. This is a highly anticipated fight coming up, and I can't wait for it myself. It's a rematch on April 27th in Leeds. It's going to be exciting. I think it's a tough one to call because both of them have a great record. Jack Catterrall, 28 wins, 13 KOs, 1 loss. Joyce Taylor, 19 wins, 13 KOs, 1 loss. And I remember February 2022 when this first match happened. Jack Catterrall lost a split decision, which I think was controversial. And I thought Jack Catterrall should have won. But it'll be interesting to see how both of them react, because a rematch can be a bit more intense. And there was a bit of rivalry in the first showdown. There was a bit of push, bit of shoving, and that's what you want, a bit of buzz. I want a bit of buzz. I want to see these two go at it. I want to see a war. Unlike some other boxing matches which they're running around. I don't want that. I don't spend my afternoons or looking forward to a wee moving about. I look forward in the afternoon to a bit intense, and then when the night time happens, I sit down, I want a good scrap. I want a good fight. And this is what I think this fight will be, a good scrap. Jack Catterrall versus Joyce Taylor, April 27th. Everyone tune in. And that's us. I want to say a thank you to everyone who has followed PM coaching the last few years. and this has been coming on to 4 years since the business has been created. And whether you like it or you don't like it, whether you hate it or you love it, you gotta respect it. And that's the main thing I'm gonna say. You gotta respect it, because we are only getting started on this new journey of PM coaching. We're only getting started, and I've said this, we are only brewing in the water. We're only brewing in, and you just haven't seen nothing yet. Because it doesn't matter about the people who haven't even watched an episode of this podcast. It doesn't matter about them. It doesn't matter about what people say in the outside. What matters is the people who tune in on a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Saturday and watches an episode of PM Coaching Podcast. Yous are what really matters. Yous are the legends of this YouTube world. Or if you listen on Spotify, even better, when you're going to the gym or whatever, these are legends for tuning in to listen. I want to thank you for giving your time, because giving your time off the day to listen to this show, it means a lot to me. And I always try and think that if you keep watching, if you keep giving feedback, I'll keep releasing episodes, keep bringing guests, keep bringing special edition episodes to yous, because yous are the people. And yous are the legends of the world. Thank you for following PM Coaching. Thank you. And I just want to end off on one thing. We're not done yet. Don't think we're done yet. All this madness I heard back home while I'm in Wolverhampton, all this madness I'm hearing about the scandal at the Devenish. Oh my days, the scandal at the Devenish. I couldn't read it. I couldn't read it at all. People getting thrown around like ragdolls, thinking it's Magaluf or Ibiza. Are you having a laugh? All front news pages, all over Facebook, all over TikTok, all I'm seeing scrolling through, the Devenish this, the Devenish that. Oh, my mum will be traumatized. But I'll tell you what, people are only showing up to get some food. Oh, we get a wee pizza. And guess what happens? It turns out to be a shit show. It turns out to be a big drama show. But when I seen a few videos and a few photos, I went to myself, what the hell is going on in West Belfast? What's going on? It's like something out of XX or something out of Game of Thrones. What the hell's going on here? Jesus, there must have been a few girlfriends or a few women got caught out by their husband or something. Because I tell you what, imagine being their man and scrolling through the news feed, and then you see your missus on the news feed. She's got Big Darnell, and Big Marcus all around her. Oh my God. Big Marcus and Darnell with their big Dwayne Johnson all around her. I don't know what's going on. Screw that for a game of darts. I just said to myself, screw this for a game of darts. What has the Devenish gone to? I remember that the boxing place or to go and get a bite to eat or a bit of party was turned into some sort of strip club. Oh, I don't know. I don't know, everyone. That's what I wanted to clarify tonight. Because I'm telling you what, the bottom line is the Devenish better get it sorted out. And I tell you what, if they don't get sorted out, I'll get the first flight to Birmingham, back to Belfast, and I'll tell myself, it's a fucking disgrace. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.